Great. So thank you very much for finishing your value test. Now we're going to be going through the answers. So let's go to your workbook. Okay. So process and productivity, moving towards world-class standards. So question number 1. South Africa's world competitiveness based on the domestic economy, internationalization, government, management, finance, infrastructure, science and technology, and people. Okay, so that just shows how competitive we are in terms of business, in terms of trying to become global, in terms of moving towards world class. The question number 1 is actually C. So we have yet to make it to the top 40 of performers in terms of world competitiveness. So it is C. Number 2, the journey towards world class. Now that's increasing customer satisfaction, reducing associated costs, and adding maximum value. So that's question 2 is number A. World-class organizations continuously strive towards building strong customer relationships and surpassing customer expectations every step of the way. So that is the answer for 3. Question number 4. Number 4 is C. World-class organizations' internal processes should be customer-driven. Processes should empower rather than restrict employees from maximizing customer satisfaction. And so it's quite important that throughout the whole of the value chain, throughout the whole of the organization, everything needs to be aligned to customer satisfaction. If we know what the customer wants at the end of the day, we can align all of our processes to make sure that those things are fulfilled. So that's why 4 is C. Number 5, world-class organizations emphasize, and it's C, stronger relationships with fewer but superior suppliers. Now, the problem is that we cannot put all of our eggs into one basket. We can have a strategic link with one supplier, but if they go out of business, we need to make sure that we have strong relationships with a whole group of suppliers that can give us the same quality and the same value and be able to change quickly. If one of them does not have stock, we need to be able to adapt and change and become agile in our approach, and therefore we need to have very strong relationships with a few suppliers in order to make sure that we are never stuck. All right. Question. So that's number 5 is C. Number 6. Number 6, world-class organizations regard knowledge, innovation, and creativity is B, an essential resource that should be accessible, shared, and generated at all levels of the organization. Then number 7, any world-class initiative relies on strong relationships with stakeholders, a clear vision of the future, and superior input from each and every employee. Now, what we often talk about is that we have something called an iceberg. At the top, we see what the executives see. They've got 5-year plans, they've got 10-year plans, they look strategically. But the problem being is that they need to be going underneath the surface level onto the work floor. Every employee should be giving feedback in terms of what's actually going on. And so you'll find that the strongest organizations are the ones that get a lot of their input from the floor and then bring it up through the channels. And then that informs the strategy, it informs the vision and the objectives that they set for themselves. Question number 8. Now, the principles of world class. I always love number C because can only be implemented by change consultants subscribing the principles of Ubuntu. Nowadays, sort of everyone is going on about Ubuntu and all these kinds of storytelling things. But the truth of the matter is that it's lovely, but it doesn't have anything concrete. So let's go to answer A. The principles of world class are relatively simple and involve developing a culture of doing the right thing the right way, on time, every time. And so if you got those, you're going to be able to become world class. Question number 9. World class necessitates, and the answer is C, evaluating your performance in terms of what the best organizations are doing internationally. So you need to be doing your research. You need to have people that are involved in research and development that are seeing what's going on in the broader world and what new innovations and what new things they are doing, and be able to take those and translate it into our context. Now, the thing about the South African context is that we aren't Germany. Okay, we aren't highly developed in terms of mechanization, but we can take the principles that we learn from Germany and contextualize it to South Africa. And so that's why 9 is C. Then number 10 is B. Okay, world class is a mindset that continuously requires time and considerable effort to develop, with each employee continually striving to achieve the highest possible standards. That is world class. So those are your answers. Okay, so let's move on from the value test. Let's see where we are moving to next. Okay, so the next task is going to be productivity in the workplace and productivity factors. Okay, so that's what I'm going to ask you to do next. Please go to your workbook. All right, we're moving on from the value test, and now I want you to read about productivity in the workplace. Now, this is a huge buzzword for so many of you. It's always about increasing productivity, making sure that productivity is at its highest. That there's no problems with efficiencies, no bottlenecks, and you do something like Kaizen or Six Sigma in order to make sure that your productivity is at its highest level. But what exactly is productivity, and what actually influences the level of productivity within your organization? So I want you to read the Inform You on Productivity in the Workplace. And when you're done with that, then we're going to be going into our portfolio, and we're going to be looking at how we can implement certain productivity processes in order to increase your productivity at your workplace. So read through productivity in the workplace, and then I'll meet you at the end of that.